Hi friends, welcome to Morning Albums. In this video, we're going to talk about Paramore's new album titled This Is Why. Hey everyone, Kyle here. So this video is a little new for me. I don't typically review albums in depth, like focusing on just one album. I usually talk about multiple albums that I've picked up at the record store, but I figured I'd try something new here because I really like Paramore's new album. So let's get into it. So just to start off, I got the new album on CD, and I really love the packaging. The face of the CD is really simple, and it's got some really nice art design, a nice red color with white font. I enjoy the cover quite a bit. And the booklet inside is really nice. It follows that same theme with the red and the white. We have a breakdown of the lyrics and the different musicians that have played on the album. So just pretty cool packaging, and I am really enjoying the sound quality of this release. I had listened to the album a few times just through my phone over a streaming service, and not a high-res stream or anything. So when I finally got the CD and I listened to this via headphones, I really picked up on different elements of the album I had missed the first few times around. And just the production, the punchiness of the drums, some of those bass grooves just really hit home on this CD copy. So yeah, super pleased with this, but let's get into some of the music. So the opening track is the title track, This Is Why. And there's a really solid punchy bass groove that just holds this track down. And throughout the verse, the lyrics are kind of talking about, if you have an opinion, maybe you should keep that to yourself. But the track really comes alive with the chorus when it just explodes. There's a really punchy guitar, bass, drums. They're very locked in really tightly. And Hayley's vocal melody follows the rhythm and the melody of those instruments. This is why I don't leave the house. It's very punchy and very catchy. Just a really cool opener and a sentiment I relate to as, being someone that prefers to spend time listening to music or reading or watching movies inside in my free time. Not that I don't like to go outside. I enjoy walking around outside, but just I kind of relate to the sentiment. So really enjoyable track, really catchy. And this song really sets the tone for the album and lets the listener know, we're in for more of a post-punk, dance punk influenced ride here, and it delivers. So the next track, The News, is a track that I also relate to quite a bit. It seems to be about how the news is really upsetting and it's driving us all crazy, and there's a lot of pundits kind of riling people up, and there's a lot of devastating information on the news, and it's kind of becoming unhealthy for us as a whole. And I can relate to this because I want to be an informed person. I want to know what's going on in the world. I don't want to be apathetic, but at the same time, a lot of the news I come across from a mental health perspective is bringing me down. And I feel like that's a sentiment shared with a lot of the US and probably other countries as well. The song itself, very upbeat, very fast-paced, very punky. There's like a really cool picky guitar part during the verses. And of course, the chorus explodes and Hayley's vocals are very satisfying. But yeah, the message of this song, I feel like, is just what I felt the most and what I can relate to. So very cool track, The News. And another song I really relate to on the album is Running Out of Time. Hayley's vocal performance on the verses, very restrained, and they're accompanied by throughout the song, there's just these little picky, delayed, sustained guitar parts that are really cool. But the message of the song is what I really relate to, and that's just the feeling of not having enough time. And Hayley's got some really cool lyrics in the song, like, intentions only get you so far. What if I'm just selfish? And my watch is just for decoration. And after going through your day-to-day routine, sometimes you just feel like you don't have enough time and you're exhausted, and you get home and you just want to relax, and often you want to make up for that time on the weekend. And sometimes, I feel like a lot of people just don't feel like they have the time to to be there for their friends, their family, and their loved one. And it's just kind of like a pressure cooker a little bit. So I relate to the sentiment of this song. And again, the chorus of this, not unlike the title track, is really punchy, and Hayley's vocal patterns follow along. But it's a really catchy song, and something a lot of people can probably relate to. Big Man Little Dignity is one of my favorite songs on the album. Kind of the first slower, stripped back song, but starts off with some wind instruments. Looks like it, based on the liner notes, might be like a bass clarinet. But there's like palm muted guitar during the verse, and then it goes into this beautiful chorus where there's a little synth melody that follows along. Hayley's voice sort of breaks during the chorus where she sings "No offense, but you've got no integrity." And that break, it's just a little characteristic of the song that's just very memorable and satisfying. And powerful as well. And then there's some really beautiful background vocal melodies that follow along in the last chorus that are just really nice. And a very nice outro as well, with some of those wind instruments coming back into the fold more prominently. So just a really nice track, one of my faves on the album for sure. You First really brings those post-punk vibes. There's a really cool guitar riff that almost sounds a bit like an alarm. It's really cool. And following that, there's some synths as well. The pre-chorus has a very beautiful arpeggiating guitar riff, and then it explodes into the chorus where Hayley claims, "Everyone's a bad guy and there's no way to know who's the worst, and karma's gonna come for us all." And one of the standout lines on this track, actually probably the whole album, and props to Hayley for inking this one, but it's, "Turns out I'm living in a horror film where I'm both the killer and the final girl." Just props for that one. Love that line. Just a really cool track. Has those post-punk, dance punk vibes, and really love this one. Figure 8 brings out more of those post-punk vibes by having that really attacky guitar. Like the guitar is just attacking this track, and the riff kind of goes along with Hayley's vocal melody. "I don't know how to stop, I don't know how to stop." The bass groove is so good during the verse of this song, and the double vocals in the bridge and those melodies are just fantastic. So great track, love this one. Liar slows it down a little bit, and this track is very beautiful. It's got a lovely chorus with interplaying guitar that has sort of a chorus kind of sounding effect on it, and Hayley's vocals are really, really beautiful when she's saying, "Oh, my love, I've lied to you, but I never needed to." And on this track, I noticed more of those production flourishes to just make this album so wonderful. Like the organ or synth sounds kind of in the background, as well as the addition of acoustic guitar. And then on the last chorus too, it sounds like there's some kind of sampling or looping going on with Hayley's vocals, not unlike the really like sized down version of like Everything in Its Right Place by Radiohead, a less intense version of that, but just really cool. I noticed when I was listening into my headphones just some of those really nice production touches. And the last two tracks have some of Hayley's just best vocal performances on the album. The track Crave is awesome. Very cool interplay between the background vocals and just a really gripping lead vocal performance by Hayley on the chorus. And the song itself seems to be talking about, going back in time, and we're wishing you could go back in time. You crave those moments. She might be talking about a past love. I'm sort of, when I listened to it, I kind of just thought about, this nostalgia of like childhood, and things seemed simpler. I'm a pretty forward-thinking person, but at the end of the day, we all have kind of those rose-colored glasses for the past. And it's just a lovely song, crave to do it again and again. Just for a moment, it all felt simple. Just really nice vocal passages. I really love this one. And then Thick Skull just has a killer opening line. Let me read this off for you. "I am a magnet for broken pieces. I am attracted to broken people. I pick them up, and now my fingers are bleeding, and it looks like my fault. It looks like I'm caught red-handed." Just wonderful lyrics, and just talking about how their thick skull never really benefited them. The song starts out with just Hayley's vocals and some slight instrumentation, but it really kicks in when there's a sweet drum fill that comes in, and then there's a really nice groove following that. And that comes in with a bit of piano as well. It sounds very methodical. There's just a very methodical groove to this song. And Hayley hits these high notes in the chorus that are just unbelievable, and they sound fantastic. The climax of this song is just so good, and everything builds and builds, and there's different layers. It's just a really wonderful song. So yeah, overall, I really love this album. And as someone in their mid-30s, early to mid-30s, I'm 34, and Hayley is the same age, I feel like it's kind of really speaking to me. And I feel like it talks about a lot of things that I've been thinking about as a person my age. And, just the state of the world, the news, kind of having that nostalgia for earlier times, thinking about how I don't have enough time and I need to make more time for myself. I feel like though obviously Hayley and I live very different lives, I really relate to where she's coming from on this album, if that's the intent that she's putting out there. And I think she really came into her own as a lyricist on this album. And I should give a little backstory. I wasn't like a huge Paramore fan growing up. I really became a fan with the last album before this, After Laughter, where they explored more of those, like an 80s pop sound, maybe a little new wave. And I've, of course, liked some of the earlier hits as well, but that's where I really became a fan. And I really like where their sound has progressed on this one, because they've kind of gone back to that 70s, 80s post-punk sound and really incorporated those sounds in a great way. And then obviously they're just good songwriters in general. And when you incorporate those nice touches of production coupled with, Hayley's just wonderful vocals. She's just really can belt them out. Really interesting guitar work, a lot of cool effects on the guitar, a lot of cool little riffs, a lot of nice arpeggios, and then you have the bass just locking it all down. Awesome bass grooves, and the drums as well sound wonderful on this. So just a really nice complete package. Great songwriting, great influences. It kind of wears the influences on its sleeve, but also it has, it still sounds like Paramore. And I think as a band, if they continue to explore these different sounds and add different influences throughout their albums, everything will kind of feel fresh. And, some might not be, they might not all be winners, but I always respect artists that try something different, even if they fail, because, it's really easy to play it safe and just kind of go with what you do best, not take any chances. And I don't think Paramore does that. I feel like for a mainstream pop act, they're very adventurous, and they definitely listen to a lot of different music, and that's really showcased throughout their work. So I really enjoy this one, and it's early in the year, but I foresee this being in my top albums of the year, when it's all said and done. So thanks for watching, everyone. I really appreciate it. Like I said, I don't normally do these in-depth album reviews, but I really liked it, and I hope that this was resonated with you if you've heard it before, and if you haven't heard it before, maybe it gave you that jump you needed to check it out. Let me know how you feel about the album in the comments, or if you're listening to anything good lately. I love to chat about music with everyone, and please consider hitting that subscribe button. I normally post content about my record collection. I collect cassettes, CDs, vinyl records. So thanks everyone. I hope you're having a good day wherever you are, and take care.